Hey, what's up, Restoration Nation? This is Pastor Steve Harris coming to you with a brand new show, kind of. We used to do a show called The Grind. I kind of backed off it a little bit. Now I'm ready to get going again, give some encouragement to those who are starting something from scratch, if you would. And this show is called Rise and Grind. That's right. So, want to talk to anyone who is starting something from scratch, whether it's a business, whether it's a church, whether it's whatever. One thing I've noticed is that I think going back in time, I've been in this now for this church planting thing for about 4.5 years. And originally we were sent off by another church, and it was called Millville Community Church. And then we ended up changing our name 2 years later to Restoration House, which was much more apropos for what God's doing in the church. So here's a thought. The word patience, oh my goodness, not something I pray for. Gotta be honest. Now, whether you're of faith or not, I'm not going to get on this channel and start preaching to you, okay? But I will say this, patience is something you must have when you're starting something from scratch. If you already have a pre-existing thing going on, or you have a network or a framework, even with that, you're going to have patience. Why? Because you're dealing with people. You're dealing with trying to develop systems. You're trying to put things together and make the pieces of the puzzle fit. And it's a never-ending over and over again that you have to go through. It took me probably a couple of years before we finally put all of our policies and procedures together. Now, some people are like, Steve, really? Like, you should have had that done like right at the beginning. I didn't know. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying I just didn't know. I found an organization called Start Church. They did it all for me. I have a board now. I have a small leadership team. But that took a while. And you got to pour into people. You got to invest in the base and build a strong foundation, a strong root of the tree. And believe me, I got some oaks out in my backyard. They're huge at the root. They're huge up top too, but they're huge at the root. And I'm sure that they're probably a good 100, 200, 300 years old. And I ain't messing with them. There's some I've cut down already, but they're not a lot. Well, anyway. Back to the point. There are going to be times where you're going to want to quit. A lot. And maybe not. Maybe you have the personality. I didn't. I always came from something where, things were kind of spoon-fed to me, if you would, and I just did it. I just had to figure out a way to doing it, repetition, right? Getting the instruction and then just being able to execute. When you have to come up with the instruction and then execute at the same time, that's a whole different ballgame. And I don't have a video crew. I'm it. So as a pastor at a church, a small church, I wear multiple hats. Now, maybe you got a business that you're doing the same thing, but it's not necessarily like a church. It's a nonprofit. It could be for profit. And you decided to go off on your own, start something from the beginning. I just want to encourage you. Don't be so hard on yourself. That's the first thing. 2 is you're going to make mistakes, lots of them. And 3, the P word. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this on camera. Patience. You got to have patience. You got to have patience. And that means that every day, I heard this, I'll wrap it up with this. Every day that you go for it, you have to just understand, you may not get the home run. You may have to hit a whole bunch of singles. Sometimes you strike out. Sometimes you lose the game. But the bottom line is there's a long season ahead of you. And believe me, I'm preaching to myself this morning. But I want to just encourage you with this. Stay the course. Stay the course. I've been wanting to stop, jump off a cliff, forget it, you name it. But I have to learn it my own way. I have to do it the way I need to do it. And I've had great people around me to help me, people that understand me, I should say. But it's not an easy road. And so I want to encourage you, stay the course. You might have thought today was your last day at it. You're like, I quit, I'm folding up, I'm going to go out and look for something else. Everybody's telling me I should, should do this. That's the problem. Everybody's telling you. Don't listen. If you're of the Christian faith like I am, I would say pray and ask God and walk with Him every step of the way. If you're not, I would just say, don't quit. I would encourage you, don't quit. It's the crazy ones that change the world, as it was a commercial that Steve Jobs had on Apple. You're going to get bombarded, you're going to get smacked around a lot. But everybody's experience is different. May not be that bad, maybe worse. I don't know. But from my experience, and I need a word of encouragement, I need somebody to speak it real to me. So that's what I'm doing today. So thank you for joining me at Rise and Grind. And I'm going to be putting this out once a week. It's going to be on our YouTube channel, Restoration House Media Network. It's also going to be on our website, rhmillville.org. And I'll be putting it on various social media platforms as well, starting with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so forth. Check it out. Oh, and we got a podcast too. So type in Restoration House Media Network and you'll be able to hear the audio version of this. All right? So God bless you. I can say that to anyone. And thanks for joining me.